What's up guys, it's Tony here, welcome back to Man Cave Studios. Today I am going to be highlighting the top 5 relatables on this channel. So in the past few seasons, the relatable series, like the Bad Advice series, has been a staple stone of this channel. We'll start off with number 5, procrastination. No!
And it's time for school.
What? Wait, but then how is baseball on? So you're going to find that a majority of the relatables that I highlight are going to be based off of how funny they are and how relatable they are. And pretty much the whole purpose of the series was to make them as relatable as possible. Everybody has procrastinated at some point before, or at least almost everybody. So this makes a lot of sense because it's very relatable to something a lot of people go through, and because it's also pretty funny. Moving on to 4th place, which is another one that makes a lot of sense, it is the sleeping relatable. This one's a pretty short one. It basically just highlights a kid procrastinating of sleep. It's pretty much kind of the same thing as number 5, but it's at the same time different. It's kind of weird. So yeah, very relatable. Anyway, moving on to number 3, we have the original relatable, when you stub your toe.
After returning from a knuckle injury of that, and obviously it's still bothering him. Listen, they did it last year. Zimmerman
I'm thirsty.
Still love going to work bars for honey barbecue chicken, but now I'm doing the dad thing.
So, like I mentioned in previous videos, I like the earlier versions of some of the series that I make because they're more pure. They're more focused on the idea that I originally had, and those are just, in my opinion, my favorites because they weren't just the easiest ones to make, they were the ones that were the funniest. Moving on to number 2 now. Mentioned in a previous video, it is technology. This one is very relatable. Like I mentioned in the previous video that this was in, it has happened to everybody that has gone on the internet before. They try to do something on the computer, it takes forever to happen, and eventually you just give up and walk away, or have to take a deep breath, or whatever the case may be, or end result may be. Now, before I mention number 1, I have honorable mentions, like always. Being short, trick-or-treating, locked out of locker, all very good relatables that just didn't make the cut. And now for my number 1 selection, which is missing the bus. No. So the entire idea behind this was there's at least one day, for me it's maybe in a year, for other people it's maybe in a few years, where you just don't feel like going to school. And basically, instead of having the character do something normal, like hit the snooze button 100 times on his alarm clock, or something like that, he goes way over the top, blows everything way out of proportion. He jumps over his fence, watches a bus go by, waits for his parents to go to work, and then sneaks back in the house to go to sleep. I would bet that has not happened to many of you. And that was pretty much entirely the whole purpose, was that this hasn't happened to anybody, but this depicts what, I guess, normal high school students feel on some days about going to school. Like, they'd rather do anything else but go to school. And yes, I have felt some of those days in the past. Again, for me, it's like once a year. But for others it may be more or less frequent. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know below if you disagree with my picks or if you agree with my picks. Hopefully you agree with them. And yeah, peace out, broskies.